We live in a hyper-sexualized society that constantly bombards our brains with stimulation. What was once a natural survival instinct has now been turned into a mechanism that drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and destroys your ability to focus. Lust is not just sexual desire. It is a dopaminergic reward mechanism that keeps you chasing instant gratification at the expense of your long-term goals. In the next few minutes, we are not going to talk about morality or religion. We are going to talk about biology and psychology. We are going to understand how your brain actually works so that you can stop fighting against the current and start building an unshakable mindset. Step 1. Identify the invisible triggers. The first step to defeating any impulse is understanding what activates it. Most people think lust appears out of nowhere, but there is always a trigger. It could be boredom, loneliness, stress, lack of sleep, or even excessive use of certain social media platforms. Your brain has built a neural pathway that says, when I feel bad, I seek this stimulus to feel better. To break that pattern, you need to become an observer of your own mind. For the next week, write down exactly what you were doing or feeling right before the urge appeared. Once you identify the pattern, you remove the power of anonymity from it, and that gives you the chance to interrupt it before the desire becomes overwhelming. Step 2. The 5-second rule and redirection. Once the urge appears, you have a very small window of time before your emotional brain takes over. This is where neuroscience becomes practical. Do not try to simply not think about it, because the brain does not respond well to pure suppression. If I tell you not to think about a pink elephant, what do you think about? Exactly. Instead of trying to resist, redirect. The moment you feel the urge, apply the 5-second rule. Count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And immediately change your physical environment or your activity. Stand up. Do 10 push-ups. Drink a glass of cold water. Go for a walk. What you are doing is forcing your brain out of the automatic loop and re-engaging the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, self-control, and decision-making. Step 3. Dopamine reset and environmental reconfiguration. You cannot expect to win a battle when you are surrounded by enemies. Your environment shapes your behavior more than most people want to admit. If your phone is your main source of temptation, set strict limits. Lust feeds on the constant novelty that screens provide. You need a reset from artificial overstimulation. That means drastically reducing junk content, short-form algorithmic videos, and profiles that exist only to trigger visual desire. When you clean up your digital and physical environment, you give your dopamine system a chance to stabilize. Over time, you start finding more satisfaction in real and productive things, and the intensity of the urges begins to decrease because you are no longer feeding them nonstop. Step 4. Transmute the energy. This is the step most people ignore, and that is why they relapse. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in human life. If you only try to suppress it, it builds up like steam in a pressure cooker until it explodes. The secret used by many highly driven people throughout history has been redirection. You must take that energy, that restlessness, that fire, and channel it into an obsessive goal. That could be the gym, a business project, learning a new skill, building something meaningful, or pursuing a creative discipline. When the urge appears, use it as fuel. If you do not have a purpose bigger than your desire will win almost every time. Find something that matters to you more than the temporary pleasure. Step 5. The identity mindset. The last step is the deepest one. Change your identity. Stop telling yourself that you are someone who is trying to quit lust. As long as you say you are trying, you are still identifying as the person who is fighting against himself. Instead, adopt the identity of someone who already has control. Say, I am not the kind of person who is ruled by basic impulses. I am someone with discipline, clarity, and vision. When you change who you believe you are, your actions start aligning more naturally with that identity. This is not just about what you do. It is about who you become. Real freedom arrives when the impulse no longer fits the person you have decided to be. Eliminating destructive lust patterns is not a one-day event. It is a process of mental reprogramming that requires patience, strategy, and consistency. If you made it this far, it means you are serious about your personal growth, and you no longer want to be a slave to your impulses. Remember this: every time you overcome an urge, you strengthen the muscle of your will. If this video gave you a new perspective, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next guides on psychology, discipline, and self-mastery. Comment the word freedom below so I know you are part of the small percentage willing to go all the way. And if you want to keep strengthening your mindset, click on the video on screen right now. See you at the next level.